Hello, virtual families. Welcome back to Forest Glen. It's my favorite time of the school year, the beginning, where we get to start a new year. I am Srta Isley, your third grade virtual teacher, and I am in my virtual classroom right now. It's the regular classroom that I'm usually in, except that it's painted a different color a little bit. And what you can't see is 41 boxes over in the corner that I don't need to unpack yet because all of our stuff will be online right now. So I want to take you through some important information that I think you will appreciate, things that I have gotten in emails, and there will still be some lingering doubts and questions, I'm sure, because they're still changing things on us at the last minute, but I would love to answer any questions tomorrow at Meet Me on Tuesday, together on Tuesday, from 4 to 6 p.m., and I can answer any other questions that you have then, and hopefully have some clarifying information that I'm still waiting on from administration. So let's take a look at what I do have for us. So first and foremost, I know that you're looking for information about our schedule. I am looking for information about our schedule. You've seen on Parent Square a mocked up version of our schedule, which I created with Senor Lalu, and looking at the expectations for virtual learning, and it looks something like this. The problem is that they're still changing our specials times with kindergarten. I'm not really sure what the issue is, but there are two potential situations here. So this is the schedule for Group A. I'm going to divide the class. Right now we have 51 students, which is okay, but I want to break you down into smaller groups so that I can help individualize what you need and we can have a more manageable class size. So this is the potential schedule for Group A if we have early specials. So this will look different than what you might have seen on Parent Square. The kids will start their morning with their morning work. We will have a live morning meeting with Zoom at 9 a.m. with the whole class. Then from 9:30 to 10:05, we would have a math mini lesson live on Zoom for Group A. During this time, Group B is doing their independent work. Then they will have time to work independently. Their related arts is bumped up from the end of the day, and that's where they'll have related arts or recess at that time. Then they will have their Spanish language arts independent work, Spanish language arts mini lesson, lunchtime, office hours where they can pop in on Zoom and ask me questions if they're confused or they would like some reteaching or some one-on-one time with me. And then we will have an English mini lesson at the end of the day that will take us to dismissal. So that is what Group A will be doing during early specials. And then Group B, you'll notice that some elements are the same. So for example, the morning meeting is with everybody, all 51 kids. Same for our lunchtime is with everybody. And the only thing that's really swapping there are the math mini lessons with independent work time and the Spanish language arts mini lesson and work time. That's the only thing that will switch between the two groups. So this is the possible schedule for early specials. And then they came to us just an hour ago and said, what if we switched you back to the way it was? So this is if we have late specials. This is what you've seen on Parent Square. So you would have your specials at the end of the day, basically, but they're still nice chunks of time. So we've got morning meeting, work time on Zoom, independent work time. And then you've got office hours in there, and it's just broken up really nicely. So there's not a huge section of time where you would have to be doing one task, like all online or all working on your own. So I think that that makes it really nice. And then Group B, same situation. They would just switch. So they're on Zoom right after the next group or right before the next group. What you'll notice here in the column that's kind of nice, I think it's a good visual for you, is that here we have work that is live. It is what we would call synchronous because we're all in sync together. And then the other part of your work time is asynchronous, which means that you can do it on your own. So you might want to do it when I give you time here in the morning, or maybe you want to do it later after your parents get off work, after you can have time to go over it together, or if you're confused and you want some support from home. So, I cannot mandate that students are in the live sessions. I would love to have all students there, but I also understand that this is a very difficult and unusual time and that every family has different needs. The attendance factor, let me switch over there for you, is pretty basic like it was in the springtime. So attendance is taken the next day, and I'm going to look and see if you got onto Seesaw or logged on at all. So we can track that with the Chromebooks because they're attached to our network and they are tracked because they're school devices. So just logging online is counted as attendance. Now, that does not mean that you get graded. Logging onto Seesaw doesn't mean you did any work. So I want you to know that I am very flexible. I understand that you each have unique scenarios. In an ideal world, you would all be online during your live sessions for your group, or most of them. I understand you're going to have, just like usual, doctor's appointments, slept in late. Technology isn't working on you. So I am very understanding, and I consider myself a communication queen, if you haven't seen that already. I love messaging and reaching out, and I just want to know what's going on and how I can support you. So I am understanding for your different needs. Just be sure to let me know. And I want to have clear communication. So if something happens on my end, you're going to get a message. I love to celebrate students' achievements and brag about kids. So you might get a lot of communication from me. You can just delete them. I won't be mad. But I think that will be important for us all to be successful this year, is to know how you can contact me, how to get a hold of me. I have multiple ways to do so. And that will make it easier for everyone, that we can all be on the same page. In the famous words of apparently Jennifer Lopez, according to the internet, this is a situation where you're going to get what you give. So while it is possible to be completely asynchronous if you need to, and that meets your family's needs, that's okay. But I think that what you as students and what you as families put in is what you can get out of this situation. So I'm going to work hard to provide multiple opportunities where the students are collaborating online, so it really mimics what we do in the classroom. And honestly, right now, I think it can be a really amazing environment for them, because at school, they cannot get close to each other to collaborate. They have to stay apart. Whereas online, we have the luxury of putting you in rooms and working on documents. We're going to learn all kinds of technology. I'll teach you. Don't worry if you don't know technology very well. But the more you put into it, if you really put forth effort during our Zoom meetings, if you're doing your work, if you're communicating with me and letting me know what you need, you're definitely going to get more out of this year than if you kind of approach it like in the springtime, where it was a dump of assignments and information and you do it on your own. I want to help you all through this process. I want to meet you where you're at. I know we're limited physically, but with the internet these days, I think that we can do a lot of great things together. So let's go on and look at our school supplies. This is a question I've been asked a lot on emails lately, and it wasn't something I thought about before this, but by being asked, it kind of came to my mind. I know that the district sent out a survey and asked you if you have technology at home. Basically, do you want to check out a device? And I know that some of you on the survey, I'm seeing that we have a couple of iPads, we have some tablets, and then some people have laptops, Chromebooks, or desktop computers. For what I am planning, like I said, we're going to be on Zoom 4 times a day. And then what I really want to do to make it look like a real classroom is I want to do a lot of breakout rooms, and the students will be switching between Zoom and other documents on their computer. I don't think that kids in 3rd grade are going to be able to share their screen and collaborate like adults do. They're not that tech savvy yet. I'm sure some of you definitely could, but I am going to have them switching in Windows and changing from Zoom to Google Drive to Google Classroom. They might be switching from a book online from Mayan to a Google Doc with a team member. So a lot of the collaboration online requires changing platforms. And I think that will be difficult if you have a tablet or an iPad. So I really recommend, it's not required. It will fit however you need it to fit. But I believe that the Chromebooks are part of their school fees anyways. Even if they don't check one out, I think you're still paying for it. Don't quote me on that. I can check if you'd like me to. But I would really recommend strongly, very strongly, that if you don't have the school Chromebook or access to a desktop or a laptop or any computer with a mouse, that you get a hold of the school and request the one that your child has here. I'd also like to know if you have mice. Like I said, I think that the trackpad or the touchpad on the computers are a little bit difficult for 3rd grade. And so I'm working on trying to get them some of our old school mice that we have at school. So if you can get one and you want to get a cool mouse, like this one's from Big Lots. I think it was $10. Maybe it was $5, but it's really simple. It's a wireless mouse. Or if you've got one laying around that you can use, I think that'll be really helpful for them as well. It's not required, but I think that will help them work online better with the technology. I also know that Senor Lalu has been sending out the school supply list and said just have everything that they have at school. And I've tried to pare it down a little bit because I know that a lot of you have multiple children at home. So this is what an ideal school supply list would look like for me at home. So when you pick up your Chromebook, or at some point, you'll need to come to school to pick up your child's Envision math book. We're not going to use it for the first unit, which is 3 weeks long, but eventually, if you pick up a Chromebook, they will give you the Envision math book. And if you don't do that, you'll have to call the office and schedule a time to come pick it up because the visitors are not allowed in the building. I only really need 3 composition notebooks, one for Spanish language arts, that'll be reading and writing, one for English language arts, and one for math. Math should be a graph paper. We do a lot of area and perimeter, which will be really helpful if we have those grid lines, but if not, that'll be okay as well. Any regular old cuaderno notebook. Some expo markers, some highlighters. This is where I get really excited. This is my favorite part of school and maybe teaching is school supplies. So get yourself some beautiful expo markers, some beautiful highlighters, post-it notes, pencils and erasers, glue stick, just one. Headphones they should have so they can be in their zone if they've got siblings around the house, and a mouse if possible. And then they'll need 3 folders to put their different work in, and colored pencils or crayons or markers. What my goal is, a lot of the things that we do in 3rd grade can't be done online. It's not really developmentally appropriate. We do a lot of highlighting, finding evidence in texts. So I'm trying to set up a system where you can come before the beginning of each unit and get all of the printables you need, because I know that printer ink is not cheap. It is like the new generation's gold, and you shouldn't have to print all that out. So I'm trying to make a quick pickup where you come and get their math posters that they can put in their notebook and glue in there, and you can get the text that we're going to use for the unit. We're really trying to plan ahead so we have that ready for you. So that will come later, but that's why I want them to have these supplies in place so that they have a place to organize themselves and put them in there. I had a lot of extra supplies in the classroom, and I know that some of you are really trying to stay home. I understand the anxiety. The reason why I signed up for 51 Kids, besides loving technology, is that I also am being very cautious. I'm taking care of my elderly parents, and so this whole pandemic thing is really upping my anxiety levels, but I have supplies that I'm hoping to come drop off to you guys and give you some extra special goodies too. So if you can't run out and get these right away, it's no big deal. As long as there's some paper around to take notes and do some extra little work, I'm going to be providing you with some extra goodies as well once I get a chance. And then I was thinking, when I'm trying to figure out how to manage 51 kids online and having 2 groups, that's pretty much like 2 classrooms basically. And so I know a lot of you in your surveys have said, how can I help? And so I love that question. I'm going to miss that the most. Room parents, I love my room parents. A lot of you guys were my room parents and back in 1st grade. I'm so glad to have you back. But what I'm thinking is, a lot of times with me in our Zoom lessons, I'm going to spend like 10 minutes reinforcing some of the lessons they've already seen. And I'm going to have them do breakout rooms with groups to work on tasks together and kind of like dive into the material in a real world application. And I'm worried because I can jump from room to room, but I can't be in all the rooms at once. So if you are home with your child, if you are going to be nearby, that during those Zoom sessions, you could kind of lend an ear for me. I would appreciate that, knowing that I could kind of work with you to schedule that. It's not to be a spy. It's not to be a tattletale, but just to make sure that the kids are on task and make sure that everything is going smoothly and academically. So let me know. Room parents get super cool personalized swag from my Cricut machine and your very own t-shirt. And ideally, I'd love to have like 10 if I have them. But I also know that some kids are at Spanish Advantage, so you can't do that, or they're at their grandma's house. But if you're around and you would be interested in that, just let me know, reach out. I am so excited to see how we can work together to make the best experience for our kids during this weird school year, virtually. That's basically my spiel. I hope that I answered some of your questions. I'm sure you still have lingering ones. Please reach out to me at any time. You can email me, which you have, or don't forget our website as well here. And if you follow the website, it will take you here. And this is where you can always contact me using this tab here. Or if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you have my email address at the bottom. And if you look right here is my Google Voice number where you can text me. And sometimes that gets to me a little bit faster. It goes to my cell phone, but I usually try to answer texts during office hours, but that could also be a quicker way if you've got an emergent question. So I hope to see you tomorrow. I'm so glad that you stopped by for my video, and I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you.